A celebratory family get-together calls for an appealing menu filled with traditional tastes. So today I'm going to prepare some everyday favorites, served up with a bit of a jazzy twist. So please join me as I prepare a festive family meal.
Jazzy, you're gonna be healthy with the Jazzy Vegetarian. Jazzy, so snazzy. We're gonna cook something healthy and light. Jazzy, so snazzy.
So join me in the kitchen right now.
We're gonna cook something healthy and light. That's right.
Get-togethers with family can be stressful, but they can be fun, especially when the party features a festive menu. Sweet and sour stuffed cabbage is the satisfying superstar of this classic meal, served beside creamy mashed potatoes with roasted garlic. For our first course, apple, walnut, and cinnamon salad adds color and crunch. And to finish with a flourish, coconut Vegaroons feature a crispy outside with a soft and chewy inside. Up next on Jazzy Vegetarian. I love stuffed cabbage. A while ago, I talked to my mother-in-law and I said, why don't you give me your recipe, see if I can veganize it. Normally you have, of course, meat in stuffed cabbage, and you might have some eggs to hold it together. So I gave it a lot of thought and came up with a fabulous recipe. We're going to start off with our sweet and sour sauce. This is the thing that really makes this dish pop. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of sour, good. We're starting off with some fresh lemon juice. I'm going to have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. That's all done. Set that aside. But what's the base flavor of this sauce? We're going to start off with some diced onion and some vegetable broth. So what I have here is a medium saucepan, and I'm adding 1 cup of diced onion, then 1 cup of vegetable broth, 1 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning. And I have one more thing to add to the base flavor of my dish, and it's a ½ teaspoon of reduced sodium tamari. You can just add a little bit of sea salt if you want. Give it a little stir, pop the top on. We're going to bring this to a simmer and just simmer it for about 5 minutes over medium-low heat while we prepare the rest of our sauce. What I use to bring out a lot of great flavor is 1 can, about 28 ounces of peeled whole tomatoes, and you want to have the tomatoes with the liquid. And all I'm going to do to prepare them for my sauce is lightly mash them. What we're looking for is big chunks of these tomatoes in this sauce. So just lightly mash. That's all you need to do. So while my onions are coming to a simmer in that veggie broth, that's starting to go, let's just get our cabbage and start a little bit with that. On the stove, I have boiling a very, very large pot of water. You will see why. Now, the goal with this is to keep the cabbage leaves as whole as you possibly can. I cut off the bottom, which I have done here, and then you see this leaf is loose. You're going to just start very, very gently pulling that with your finger. You want to gently pull it. That is perfect. Then you're going to go around and do that with all of these bottom leaves. Just gently pull it with your finger. Help it along on the top. Just lift it off there, peeling it back with your fingers. And there, it just comes off just perfectly. We're going to get 12 of these leaves off of here. All right, let's just take a look at our sauce. Ooh, that is perfect. That's what you're looking for. Now let's add the sweet part of our sauce. Remember those tomatoes that we just mashed? We're going to add that right in there. That's going to start the sweet of our sweet and sour sauce. Because think about it. Tomatoes are a fruit, so they have a little bit of a sweet taste to them. But to help that sweet taste out just a little bit, I'm adding 1/3 of a cup of vegan brown sugar. You can certainly use maple sugar, but that's really what adds the sweet to our sweet and sour sauce. Now, for the real sour in this sauce, we're going to add our lemon. I'm adding 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. This adds the perfect amount of true sour taste. to this sweet and sour sauce. That is perfect. Woo! And to give it a real jazzy kick, I have minced 2 cloves of garlic. That's going to go right in there. The cool thing about this dish is when it's done is this sauce takes on this beautiful golden orange color. Now we're going to cover this sauce and let it simmer for 15 minutes. Let's get back to getting these cabbage leaves ready for our stuffed cabbage. Some of this stem is still attached. You want to detach the leaves from the core, just like that. And what I do is I just continue to detach them as I go along. So you're just carefully going to pull them off. They rip a little bit, no big deal. You'll see how I patch them all together once I get them going. I think that's about enough. So this is a really cool way to make these leaves go from crisp and kind of hard to nice and pliable so we can wrap our fabulous stuffed cabbage rolls. And what I have done is I've filled a large pot, about 2/3 full, with water. And I have it right here to a low rolling boil. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm just going to drop these leaves in one at a time, just like this, and just kind of press down as you go so the leaves get submerged into the water. All right, there you go. Do you see that? I've got them all in there. What you're going to do is cover the cabbage leaves and leave them in there for 4 to 5 minutes until they become pliable. You're going to take them out, put them in a strainer, let them cool for about 10 or 15 minutes. Let me just check. Ooh, look at my sauce. That smells delicious, looks delicious, smells delicious, looks delicious, smells delicious, tastes delicious. Woo! All righty. Let's put that stuffing together. So we're starting off with 2 cups of cooked brown basmati rice. But what are we going to use to hold this stuffing together? The first thing I'm going to use is 3/4 of a cup of walnuts. And we're going to process this into coarse crumbs. So we're going to get that all into our stuffing. Okie dokie. Next, I'm going to use 1 slice of a whole grain bread. You want a large slice of bread. And then I'm putting in 1 teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Just going to coarsely grind these breadcrumbs. That is perfect. So add your breadcrumb mixture to your walnuts and your rice. All right, now let's stir this all together. Now, what we're adding is 2 cups of chopped mushrooms. You can either use white button mushrooms or cremini mushrooms for this. And I'm adding 1 cup of diced onion. A sweet onion is particularly nice for this since we're doing sweet and sour. This is going to be the moisture that's going to hold all of this together, so we don't need to use eggs. There we go. Perfect. You just want to process that into a chunky puree. That's the perfect consistency. You see that? That's what you're looking for. So here we go. Now, you see, that almost looks like a chopped meat stuffing. And you do want it to be able to hold together, just like that. You see how it's holding together on the spoon? Because that's what's going to keep it together when we put it into our stuffed cabbage. We're stuffing our cabbage. I'll take my beautiful sauce. I'm going to layer about 3/4 of a cup of this sauce right in the bottom of my casserole. 1 cabbage leaf here. Now this leaf is huge. First of all, you want to feel for the tough end of the cabbage. If you can just look at that, to see this stem here, we're going to get rid of that before we roll our cabbage roll. But see, it's just going to break. It's not very pliable. So you're just going to make a V there. You're going to cut that right out of there. And you're going to kind of patch it together. Going to cut off this little end here. Now we're going to take about a 1/4 cup of our beautiful stuffing, put that right in the middle, just like that. You're going to roll this end in, roll this end in, tuck your top over there like that, and then just roll it up. It's really, really easy. And then just snugly tuck that right into your casserole. Let me do another one for you. Once again, going to cut off that little tail there. Take 1/4 cup of your stuffing. Put that in there. That's it. Fold up the sides just like this. Fold the top over and just roll that right up. And you want the seam side to be down. It's absolutely perfect. Look how beautiful that is. I got to redo my first one. That guy looks like he got a little funky. Funky cabbage. Do the funky cabbage.
Let's get funky now. Cabbage. Funky. Cut the cabbage. Roll it all up into cabbage rolls. Let's get real funky.
Look at those cute little cabbage rolls. Now we are just going to pour this sweet and sour sauce right over these cabbage rolls. Just spread it evenly over the top with a spatula. We're going to put this fabulous sweet and sour stuffed cabbage casserole into the oven at 375 degrees. I'm going to cover it tightly with foil, and I'm going to let it bake for anywhere from 60 minutes to an hour and a half until the cabbage has gotten all soft and that sauce has turned almost a golden orange color. Next up, I have my fabulous coconut Vegaroons, a vegan version of the traditional macaroon. Even if you are not on a plant-based diet, you're going to love these Vegaroons. They're really good. Now, the challenge to making macaroons without egg whites can be a big one. Flax seeds often stand in very, very well for eggs, but they stand in particularly well for egg whites. And in fact, in most macaroons, you have egg white as the base of the recipe, kind of holding it together. If you're not familiar with flax seeds, these are golden flax seeds. You can buy them at your health food store. A lot of supermarkets carry them now. I've got 2 tablespoons of golden flax seeds. You want to grind them in a high-speed blender. That is perfect. You do need them to be a very fine powder like this. You do want to grind your flax seeds fresh. They become rancid very, very quickly once they have been ground. So I like to always grind my flax seeds fresh right before I use them. I'm adding a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of water. And I'm going to mix it very well as I'm pouring it in there. There we go. As you can see, they instantly start to thicken. So you do that first when you're making your Vegaroons. Set it aside, and by the time you're ready to put the cookies together, they're going to be perfect. What I'm starting with is 1 1/3 cups of raw, unsweetened, shredded, dried coconut, a 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of maple sugar. You can certainly also use brown sugar with this. Now we're keeping these Vegaroons gluten-free. So I'm adding 2 tablespoons of garbanzo or chickpea flour. I'm adding 1/8 teaspoon of sea salt, a little sweet, a little salty. So we're going to whisk that all together. All right, that's good. Now we're going to add this flaxseed mixture. We're going to pop that right in our Vegaroon mixture. What I'm adding is 2 tablespoons of non-dairy milk. We might add a little bit more as we go. And then 1 1/4 teaspoons of vanilla extract. All right, that's the perfect consistency. Take a look at that. That's what you're looking for. Okay, so this is how we're going to get going. I'm going to put 1 heaping tablespoon right there on my cookie sheet. And you don't have to leave much space in between them. They're really not going to spread. They're going to kind of keep this shape. You know, I'm not big on tons and tons of gadgets in the kitchen, but I will admit that things like different sized cookie scoops really do save time, especially when you're doing something like this. And of course, this is a tablespoon scoop, so you don't have to measure it. You just know you've got one heaping tablespoon for every cookie. Works out really great every time. So that's a little jazzy tip. Now what I do now is I just pat them down just a tad on the top, just so the insides are going to cook through beautifully. All right, those are perfect. I've got my oven preheated to 325 degrees. I'm going to pop them into the oven for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to decrease the heat to 300 degrees and bake them for another 12 to 15 minutes till they're nice and crispy on the outside. They're going to be nice and tender and chewy on the inside. They're going to be so good. Next up, who doesn't love mashed potatoes? So stick around for that.
I do the mashed potato. Come on and mash it now.
Mashed potatoes with roasted garlic. So easy to do. I'm just taking a little ramekin and we've chopped 3 cloves of garlic. Just going to toss the garlic right in there. I want to take about 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, drizzle that right over the garlic. You actually can do it without the olive oil if you like. Just add a little bit of water so it'll kind of steam bake. Cover it in a little foil. I'm going to pop it into a 400-degree oven for about 15 to 20 minutes to get it nice and mellow and soft for our fabulous mashed potatoes. I have steaming 5 large russet potatoes. I've peeled them and I've chopped them in kind of equal pieces. And I'm going to steam them until they are nice and soft so they're easy to mash. So it's thumbs up for my fabulous festive family meal as we get moving and get going. I'm going to check on those Vegaroons. I'm going to mash the potatoes right now. Just take a look. All right, let's get them right into our bowl. Beautiful. Got a little steam bath kind of thing here going here. Perhaps I could do a little jazzy vegetarian music video. Oh, mashed potato. Ooh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah, and the steam's going. I've got a 1/4 cup of unsweetened non-dairy milk. Pour it right in there. You do want it to be hot. And then I'm adding 1 tablespoon of vegan mayonnaise. The vegan mayonnaise is optional. If you're keeping it low fat, just leave it out and add a little bit more of the non-dairy milk. Then a 1/2 teaspoon of Italian herbs, a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. Let's add some fresh ground pepper. I have this beautiful roasted garlic, which I roasted in the oven for about 18 minutes or so. You can leave it in a little bit longer if you like your garlic softer, but I like it to be nice and garlicky. But it just has a little bit of a roasted flavor to it. It's absolutely fabulous. Yummy, yummy, yum. I'm going to mash them. These are looking great. Got to get my macaroons out of the oven. Look how gorgeous these are. We've got the beautiful golden bottoms of our Vegaroons. You want to get them on a baking rack right away and set them aside. We're going to let them cool for about 30 minutes or so before we dig in. Although in my kitchen, they're usually half of them are gone within 30 minutes. So I'm adding just a little bit more of this non-dairy milk. What I do is I start off with a 1/4 cup and I just add a little more. You might want to heat up about a 1/2 cup if you like really creamy mashed potatoes. This is gorgeous. All right, we're closing in on our family meal. And of course, we need a little salad. And it's my apple, walnut, and cinnamon salad, which is also called Anita's haroset. And it is a traditional salad that's served at Passover time. But really, it's such a delicious salad. You can serve it any meal, any time of day. Of course, we're starting off with an apple. I have a beautiful Rome apple here today. In the traditional recipe, you would use a sweet red wine. But I don't want to use wine in this recipe today, so what I'm using instead is some red grape juice. Works really well. So it's going to turn these apples purple. It's going to be a really pretty purple color to serve as my salad. So we're going to cut this apple into little cubes, kind of the size that our walnuts are, so it all kind of becomes one. Makes it really great for this salad. So to that, I'm adding a half a cup of chopped walnuts, a half a teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 tablespoon of maple sugar. You can certainly use brown sugar too. Let me wash off my hands. So let's add a little bit of grape juice to this. So I've added in a 1/4 cup of this red grape juice. And then I'm going to put this right into my beautiful serving bowl. I'm ready to plate this festive family meal up, and I'm going to taste it for you. So stick around. This looks amazing! My festive family meal. And I'm going to start off with the mashed potatoes. I go right for the mashed potatoes. Got to give them a little taste. Wow. Just that little pop of garlic in there really makes them absolutely festive. Now my apple, walnut, and cinnamon salad. Isn't that pretty? That cinnamon, that grape juice just gives it a little bit of sweet, that maple sugar. I love that. Now the star of the show. Da, 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 da. For the moment we've been waiting for. Let's just open that up and take a look in there. Look how gorgeous that is. It has a real meaty flavor, a meaty look, but it's vegan. Wow. You've got the sweet of that maple sugar coming through there. You've got those tomatoes, and it's all cooked down to make this beautiful little kind of golden orange red sauce. All those savory herbs and the cabbage. It's just delicious. Of course, for dessert, my Vegaroons. Got to take a little bite. Really good. They are crisp on the outside, chewy on the inside. I've had a great time sharing my festive family recipes with you today. So the next time you're thinking about throwing a party for your favorite family members, I hope you'll look to the recipes on today's show. So until next time, be happy, be healthy, and be well from the Jazzy Vegetarian.
Visit our website at jazzyvegetarian.com to connect with Laura, see videos, find your favorite recipes, and more. Follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Companion cookbooks to the Jazzy Vegetarian series contain beautiful full-color photos and include recipes featured each season.
This 10th anniversary edition companion cookbook features full-color photos, menu plans, and over 120 recipes.
For more information or to order, visit jazzyvegetarian.com.
Organic love, 100% natural. Yes, it is now. Organic love. I've got no additives or no preservatives. It's real intuitive. It's downright primitive. Organic love is 100% natural. Yes, it is now.